what I believe personally, and which is also industry standard now, that product managers needs to be good with numbers. They need to be data driven because they are the decision makers of the company. They need to be data driven. They need to support their hypothesis with some numbers.
I'd like to welcome Apar, who has taken time to join us today. Introducing Apar, he has over 5 years of work experience and has worked in various roles like as a consultant, as an analyst, and now as a product manager. He has worked with organizations like Salesforce, Zedis, Nykaa, Cast24, and Vyomo right now. He is skilled in analytical skills, statistical data analysis, and machine learning and databases. He's an experienced product manager with a demonstrated history of working in the internet industry and a strong product management professional with a focused, who did his BTech focused in computer science from JP Institute of Information Technology. So, Apar, thanks a lot. Would like you to add to that if I've missed anything.
No, that was more than enough, honestly. And thank you for inviting me to the panel. Really glad to be the part of Seekho AMA session. Honestly, I've been through the platform and it's really helpful in learning the new skills and honestly, with good job opportunities for the freshers and for anyone with good experience or not. So, yeah.
Right. Thanks a lot for that as well. So we'll directly dive into our AMA session now.
Yeah.
So Apar, we've been getting a lot of questions, especially on Seekho, where we have a lot of Q&A forum and we have a lot of mentors. And, the very commonly asked question that people want to understand and know. And in general, we'd like to learn from you also, like to learn from you that when did you discover or get to know about product management domain?
Okay. So honestly, till the time I was going for an interview with Nykaa, I didn't know about product management till that I got this call. But I realized this product management is something which I really want to pursue because when I was in college, I was into the software development and app development thing. So after that, when I went to my first corporate job with Salesforce, I realized that the development in the college and in the Salesforce environment or in any corporate world is not the same. Because in college, you need to think about the project, then you think about the solutioning part, and then you think about a lot of aspects around that. So I was always that person who used to think that, who used to break down the problems, who used to think what we will do, what will be the next steps. So when I went into the actual coding part, that was not exciting for me. And that is when I decided to move into the data side of the things. And because I love playing with numbers and making sense out of it. So when I was looking out for a change after ZS, one of my friend, he referred me for product analyst. He was about to refer me product analyst at Nykaa. That is when he guided me that there is actually a field called product management in which you require, that is like a thing which acts as a bridge between the technical, the analyst and the business side. So in this, you actually get all the flavors of it and the problem statement and the brainstorming you want to do, that is actually into product management. So that is when I decided, okay, why not give it a try? But honestly, when I was going for my first interview at the product manager, I was very scared because I didn't knew about product management at that point of time. And there were a lot of myths, I'm sure, who are new in the industry, who are getting out of college. They also do have that. Do product managers need to be technically strong? Do product manager needs to have an MBA degree? So yeah, these all myths were also with me at that point of time. So when I went for the interview process over there, that is when the interview process was going on, that is when I decided, okay, this is something which I am really enjoying in the interview process. The kind of problem statement thrown towards me, the kind of thinking I am able to grab now at this point of time instantly. So that is when I decided, okay, I will give it a shot. And yes, so that is when I decided basically with Nykaa's interview, thanks to Nykaa, that I will be a product manager.
All right.
Yeah.
So what I understand is, it took, you also were discovered after you were into your corporate
Yeah.
field,
Yeah.
after you got into analyst role. All
Yeah.
right. So we understand that you got to know somebody referred you, and when you were giving the interview, you realized that this is something that really excites you.
Yeah.
So, how and when did the shift happen gradually into product management?
So even after joining to Nykaa, I was working more on the data side of things because what I believe personally, and which is also industry standard now, that product managers needs to be good with numbers. They need to be data driven because they are the decision makers of the company. They need to be data driven. They need to support their hypothesis with some numbers. So that is when I thought, okay, I'm enjoying doing this part of thing. And slowly and gradually, my seniors were supporting me to get into more product driven roles and take more of the projects by myself and brainstorm on the problem, identifying the problems. So that is when the gradual shift happened in Nykaa within 2-3 months of time after I joined, from a data person to thinking that data and actually utilizing that data, what I have, to take some decisions on that. What will be the good? Where is the user funnel drop? So we will talk about that in detail for sure.
All right, all right. So I'm sure, when people you look at a PM role from outside versus somebody like you who's transitioned from a different role to PM, there must have been a lot of assumptions around this domain, right? Like product management domain and career and the roles in general in this domain. So what were certain assumptions like that got busted for you when you started off as a product manager?
Yeah, so a lot of, I think, two major myths which are there for product managers, that they need to be an MBA. And second one is they need to have a technical degree. Of course, before diving into these more nebulous skills necessary to be a successful product manager, it goes without saying that PM needs to be a technical, but they do not, it is not very, very true that they need to have a technical degree for that. A good PM needn't necessarily to be a software expert, but should have the technical acumen necessary to prioritize projects. The core understanding, what I believe, for the product complexity or from the code perspective needs to be there. The proper collaboration with the team, that is when it will be happening. So yeah, so the first thing, you need to have a technical degree? No, you just need to be good with the technical skills or have a basic technical acumen so that you know what your product is, you know what the competitor product is, you know what is possible through your product, what is not possible. And that also will help you to build a good rapport with the engineers. So definitely, the good technical acumen is needed, but not a technical degree. And secondly, no, MBA degree is not needed necessarily if you are starting. MBA is good to have. Yes, definitely. You learn a lot of things in MBA. There are lot of good colleges. But necessarily people who are starting as an APM into the entry level thing, MBA is really not important or a very necessary thing.
So when you say about like the technical skills is not needed, so does that mean they do have to code? They don't have to code? Does that involve that is a role?
Coding is definitely not involved as a JD of the PM. Yes, but there are some technical product manager special profiles which for Google, and if you see, there are a lot of companies which specifically ask for software experienced people who have software development knowledge and all. So that is definitely required. But no, a PM does not need to code. They do need to have a good analytical skills so that they can see where the lag is coming, where the drop is coming, where are the user getting dropped, and all these things. So they can analyze things on their own. And after doing some projects, they can analyze the success or the failure of the product on their own. But the coding skills, as far as if they do have, it is good to have in the future. But if they don't have, it is definitely not a necessary thing to have.
Right. Yeah. I mean, one common myth that we also heard from a lot of people is it says product management. So the moment management comes, it means it requires MBA, like you mentioned.
Yeah.
So getting started off, it doesn't really have to have an MBA. I think, yeah, that makes a very valid point here, right? So, you say that PM is a mix of, let's say, a little bit of data and numbers, business, and, a bit of engineering and design and everything together. So there are a lot of things that I think PM is engaging with, a lot of different teams that a PM is talking with, right? So in this, what becomes like a commonly asked question during an interview, right? What does a PM have to be prepared with when they're going for an interview? What can they expect during an interview for a product?
Yeah, so what I have seen throughout in all the interviews I have ever been to, yes, definitely there are some set of skills which by default comes when you go for a product management interview. But some of the key questions which are always there as a product manager in a product management interview, that is, what do you see as a product manager main role with product development? How do you stay user focused? What if this is the case study? The case study will be thrown towards you, and what will be the funnel you will be following? How you will analyze? What will be your hypothesis around the same? Tell me about time you use to use data to influence important stakeholders. How do you take this decision that this product is more important than how you are prioritizing this product over the other product? and what's your approach while prioritizing tasks and all. So in general, yes. So if I really want to simplify this for everyone, so I think the product manager needs to have these 5 or 6 skills which are really important. The first one being the technical skill, which I told you don't need to be a hardcore coder by yourself, but you need to have a proper tech architecture understanding and proper technical acumen that what is achievable, what is not achievable. And the second thing is you need to be user centric. You need to think from user point of view. You need to get into the shoes of the user. You need to use the product as a user. Then you will be seeing the gaps and the problem statements which are there. The third thing is data driven for sure, for making quick decisions, for analyzing the success of a product, for analyzing the failure of a product, and definitely doing the A/B testing, because I think this is also a myth. Whatever you think will be a successful experiment in a product, no, definitely not. You do 3-4 things, then you analyze, okay, this thing is good, but you need to more go in deep with data for that, and then you analyze, okay, this is like close to perfect solution. And I for a design, what design you should have as a product manager and user you'll be using, so that you see the minimum funnel drops and all. So yeah, and experiment mindset, like I said, you cannot stuck with one solution. That solution can be definitely wrong. You cannot stuck with one solution. You need to have 2-3 different alternatives, and you need to test out all the hypotheses for the same. And the last one, which is very important, from where I think the management part comes, is the people skill, managing people. That is like the heart of a product manager. So you need to be ensuring that designers, engineers, business, stakeholders, legal, sales, whatever people you are working with, you need to act as a bridge between every one of them. So you need to manage everyone. You need to take in mind whatever the timelines you are giving to each one of them. You need to keep all the things from organization level point of view, so that the product is, you are building the product, it is good and it is delivered on time, and which satisfied everyone's needs and wants at that point of time.
All right. So I'm really interested and excited to hear all this. Apar, if that's not much of a trouble, can you share an instance of any question that was asked to you in an interview, which was very interesting, maybe?
Yeah. So definitely, I think the first one was in this Cast 24 interview when I was giving. So they asked me about how will you basically design an whole product for bike rental service. So at that point of time, the expectation was that I will be covering all the specs for the same. How we will ensure the security of the scooters, how the user flow will be, how they will come to the stations and they will unlock the device, how we will make sure that they are not forgetting. So all these things were there, and how, what should be the pricing strategy initially, what should be the, basically, if you are driving scooty for 1 hour, then wait time is 2 hours. What you should keep the price, what type of passes you want to keep, in which city you want to do the pilot, why you are choosing this particular city. So all these things were there. So then at the end, when you design the whole session, first of all, it is, I think, very unfair to a person to ask him in a half an hour of time to design the whole product. But if they give the ballpark around the same, then it is, I think, product manager should not think about the solution at the first place. They should break down the problem statement, like I said, in these 4 basic channels. So once they start, basically they find the gap, they start dividing the problem statement into these 4 segments, they will eventually get to the solution. And over that, the data-driven approach definitely help them to reach the solution and to design 2-3 experiments and to test out what was better for them. So yeah, so whenever you're going for an interview, do not jump to the solution directly. Try to understand what the problem statement is. Once you try to understand the problem statement, you try to more go inside the problem statement, asking many questions, taking assumptions, and asking the interviewer about what type of, about questions like data questions, like what is the revenue, what is the expected ballpark number have you guys seen, what data, and any data question which you are having in mind. Just keep on exploring, because as you started dividing the problem statement into smaller problem statement, you will see the solution itself is coming towards you. So rather than jumping to an approach and getting fixated on that, what you should do, you should definitely drill down the problem statement into these 4 segments and then ask more and more questions about data. So this will give you a nice interactive session, because product manager interview, first thing, definitely when the case study is thrown, there is no right or wrong solution. It's the approach which matters the most. So once you have a good approach, you have a top-down approach, how you are basically drilling down into the problem statement, how you are asking question, how interactive you are making that call or that interview session with the other person, that will increase their interest more. That will increase their interest more, and that will definitely help you to go to solution. And eventually, if the luck is good and everything is good, you will be getting selected.
But I think one very important point I feel from what you've said is to really ask questions. Sometimes people hesitate to ask, thinking, what if I come across somebody who does not know, or somebody who's questioning or asking too much? I think that is very important from what you've mentioned, right? So coming down to the last part, you've also mentioned several places that a bit of technical knowledge has to be there, like you don't have to code. So how important is it? And when you say technical, what exactly is it? Like, is it the way the app is built, or the backend, or accessing data? What sort of technical knowledge and how important is it for a people?
So like basically understanding the basic tech architecture, what your company, the architecture which is based on, what front end technology they're using, what back end technology using, how they are connecting front end to back end, and what is possible, what technical capabilities your company have. So tomorrow, if I go to an XYZ company, they are a basic e-commerce brand, and I ask them to do an image processing complete project on the same. So if they don't have the right skill set people, if they don't have the right skill set architecture set up for the same, then we cannot do that. And we'll be wasting time doing a lot of POC and all. So if we know what our capabilities are, what type of skill set we have, and on what architecture our product has been built on, what front end, back end, and what is doable, what is not doable, basically understanding that, not actually going and starting to do the code that today I will do everything related to the product. And so but basically understanding what different things are there in your company as an architecture point of view and the skill set point of view which people are holding. And then within that domain, you deciding on what to do and what not to do. That is important, I think.
All right. I think, answers a lot of questions around what people generally been asking us, even on Seekho, how to get started, but what is the right way to get started also. I think a lot of them have been answered. A person who has knowledge in data science and have knowledge about how to take that data to another level, like prediction, could be part or could get into this role.
Yeah, definitely. Like I mentioned, the data-driven approach, and if the person is into data science, if he knows what the data is speaking and he can take out the meaningful insight of that and can build a product actually over there, he already have a stronger hand. He knows what the data is supporting, and it will be easy for him to or her to convince the stakeholders. So, and definitely the person, he or she, they will be more confident because data is predicting the same thing. So yes, definitely you can be a product manager. And the 6 skill sets which I defined previously in the previous question, definitely data is, I think, the most important part. And the second most important is the management skill, which is very underestimated. But yeah, that definitely takes a lot of time of you. You have to set up a call with everyone. You have to bring everyone on the same page. So yeah, if you have this data approach, if you are good with data, if you have some data science models ready with you, then definitely you can get into it.
Now, even APM roles require to have prior PM experience. Like even associate product manager role requires you to have at least 1 to 3 years of PM experience. How do we make a switch without any PM experience? How to build a portfolio and land those interviews or calls?
Okay, so definitely there will be this is not true for all the companies who are asking for an APM, because APM itself means associate product manager. We are starting at an associate role. So I think having the prior experience, some companies can have this kind of requirement, but definitely not all the companies. And like I said, if you have the good approach and good understanding of the tech and the data-driven approaches, and definitely not the tech initially, but the data-driven approaches, and also the problem which has thrown towards you, how you are approaching towards that. Again, that is the same answer which I want to give over here. But yes, APM role, definitely all the companies will not ask for the prior experience. But yes, if you want to get started start prepping up for the APM level roles, then you should start comparing different apps. There are a lot of LinkedIn pages nowadays, the product school, and a lot of different pages. And Seekho also have this product management course. So you just go on that and analyze and be the user yourself, and then start analyzing things on your own. What is good? Just for starters, let's just take simple examples. Compare Zomato and Swiggy. You will see once you get into the user shoe and once you wear the PM cap, you will see a lot of different things. How Zomato is solving the problem differently, how Swiggy is solving the problem differently. even in the notification game right now, that is being so strong for different companies. So just be more observant. Just be, if you want to get into product, just be more like the user, not only who is purchasing the product, who is actually using the service and analyzing the service at each point of time in the funnel. So if you are that kind of person, then definitely any problem and any case study thrown at your face in an APM interview, you will be easily able to dodge that.
If I'm a fresher and I want to develop my skill set here, what are different blogs or resources I could reach out to, or concepts or books to sort of build my skill here?
I think one book which I read, I will recommend that highly to everyone, How to Crack the Product Management Interview by 𝐀𝐿. That is a very good book for everyone starting out in product management. And that actually gives you the real life aspects with a lot of examples and case studies in the book itself. So which will force you to think like a product manager. And apart from that, if you want to explore more of the content, there are a lot of LinkedIn pages. I do not personally follow a lot of them, but Cases Over Coffee and the PM School is what I have been following up from last, I think, 1 year. But apart from that, yeah, the technical skill, the data skills which you have, the basic SQL knowledge, the Excel knowledge, and the basic dashboarding knowledge, that will be like a cherry on the cake thing for you. But yeah, how to crack the PM interview and practically seeing through different apps what type of work you want to do, how the companies are solving different problem, and what updates are coming, what changes are coming in the app. So that will definitely give you the real life examples also.
Apar, firstly, thanks a lot for taking your time and patiently answering questions and being here with us today. It was a really nice session, and I'm sure people have a lot of insights to take